January 24th. Committee, we have before us the minutes of the January 27th, 2025 meeting. If there are no additions or corrections, we'll consider a motion to approve the minutes as written.
I make a motion to approve the minutes for January 27, 2025.
All right. All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The minutes are approved. And Colin, we going to hear about an intergovernmental cooperation agreement.
Good afternoon to the committee. My name is Colin Alexander. I serve as program manager with the Birmingham Department of Transportation. What's before you is an interlocal agreement between the city and the county. This is part of what is now becoming an annual program partnership with the county, in which we partner with them to pave roads kind of on our periphery. They go in and out of county jurisdiction when they're to make sure that we're getting the best price point that we can get. So this year we're looking at actually 11 road segments that the county is going to partner with us on. These include in District 1, Birchwood Street between 13th Avenue and Sycamore, Linwood Street between 13th Avenue and Sycamore, Sycamore Avenue between Woodsley and Oakwood Street, and then Woodsley Street between Sycamore and 13th Avenue, all of those being in the Killow Springs and Bridlewood neighborhoods. Also in Killow Springs, it would include Red Mill Road from Lawson Road to Redstone Way in District 4. It would include Montevallo Road over between West Oxmoor Road and the county maintenance limits, which goes in and out of Districts 6 and 7 in Oxmoor and Mason City. 55th Street Southwest in West Brownsville in District 7 between Jefferson Avenue and Margaret Avenue. Over in Sherman Heights in District 9, it would pave 14th Street / Pleasant Grove Road between Birmingport Road and Pleasant Grove Road. Colberg Road between I-22 and the Brookside-Colberg Road in Hooper City, as well as the entire portion of Raceway Parkway in Hooper City, and finally 10 Mill Road between Park Road East and Allison Bonnet Memorial Drive. Altogether to the city, that would be about almost $304,000.
Yeah, so for folks who may not be familiar with all those street names, these are areas of the city of Birmingham that adjoin to unincorporated Jefferson County, and so a portion of the streets in the city and the other portion may be in the county.
Yeah, and sometimes they're county designated roads, which even though they are the maintenance jurisdiction of the city, the county will partner with us for the portions that go through the city. So it just depends on that, but yes, it has to fall within the county's perspective for us to partner.
Okay. And assume that the county is going to put the project out for bid.
That's correct. They have their own in-house crews that handle this, which is part of the reason that we can get a better price point partnering with the county on these opportunities than we could doing it ourselves.
Do we have like a price per foot rate or?
I'd have to go back and look. I don't have that with me right now.
Okay. Do you have the total number, the total, I saw a tabulation in here on the amount that doesn't include the length of the roadway segments.
No, it doesn't. I can get that back to you if you need that information, Counselor.
Yeah, this is on the agenda for council tomorrow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so having the various lengths of the roadway segments would be helpful for the council, I'm sure.
Sure, we can put that together.
Okay. Other questions?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm trying to, so I know the county, are we just paying for like the materials or something? Or how does that break down? Because the cost seems relatively interesting.
So it's based on what the county estimate is for the work, materials and labor.
Okay. Well, just say like Woodsley specifically.
Mm-hmm.
This is, what are they doing? Are they, overlaying, are they repaving?
It's mill and overlay. And when you look at part of, you got some pretty small numbers on those streets in particular, because what happens is that you've got like half a block is in Birmingham and half a block is in the county. Right, so what you're seeing is just the Birmingham portion of that street is what they're charging us.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it. I'll circle up with you, but I feel like more of that road is in Birmingham than is shown on this map. But, if you're saying they're gonna mill and pave the whole street, then I am happy nonetheless. But thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah.
Colin, just briefly again, tell me, I know Colberg, and you said Highway 22, because I just got an email about that and was just inquiring, but I'm glad to see, that's in the making. And the Raceway Parkway is D9, and which other roads?
So in
Raceway Parkway is with Hooper City?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's what comes off.
Is that like, Lasky Mountain or whatever?
Yeah,
Okay.
heading to the Lasser Mountain Drag Raceway, exactly.
Okay,
And then in District 9, the others are 4th Street / Pleasant Grove Road.
/ Pleasant Grove Road?
Yep. Between Birmingport and Pleasant Grove Road.
Pleasant
And-
Grove and Birmingport?
Yep. And then 10 Mill Road between Park Road East and Allison Bonnet.
And what's 10 Mill again?
10 Mill is in Dolomite.
That's Dolomite, yeah. That's right as you get out the exit and turn right there
Yes, ma'am.
before you get to the raceway. But it is the Raceway Road, 10 Mill Road. Pleasant Grove. What's the road on by Raceway? Is that 10 Mill? I cannot remember. Right on the side of Raceway and the church is chicken. Is that 10 Mill? I don't think so. I
don't remember.
I think it's 10 Mill before that. So you got 10 Mill Road and what other roads?
That's it in District 9.
And that's Dolomite.
That's in Dolomite. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Alrighty. And then I'll follow with you, about Sipico Finley.
Yeah, absolutely, no problem. And like I said, that's part of our 24 package, that they're currently working in that area. So it's the same streets that are on our website right now are the ones that they're working on.
Then another quick question, and I yield the floor back to the president. Do you have any idea when they probably will be starting on Shuttlesworth Road?
The, going through, up through, Druid Hills, or which portion?
Yeah, I guess when we leave here, because we're on 19th and going around with the old Social Security to Salvation Army.
Yeah, so that, there are 2 projects that touch that corridor. Both of them we're hoping are gonna be bid later this year. So we'll be updating you pretty soon on those, but we're still getting to that point.
Okay. So they're in the pipeline to be bidded out, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
problem.
Thank you, Mr. President.
All right. So the funding source is federal funds.
For this partnership, it's gonna be, local gas tax funds for this partnership.
Okay. That's the same thing as the highway improvement fund?
Yes, that's correct. The Highway Improvement Fund is one of those, is the name of one of the gas tax accounts.
Okay. Does that also include, does that fund get incorporated into the amount that we have, allocated in the general fund for paving, street paving?
It is part of the total package of street paving funds.
Okay, so this would, can't remember if it's 14.5 or 15 million, but, yeah, this would be essentially,
Part of
drawing
that.
out of that, yeah. Okay. And, all of these paving projects would go out for bid and expected to be done this year?
This is gonna be done this fiscal year. So this is the fiscal year 25 for the county.
Okay,
And so we've developed a pretty good relationship with the county where we really try to seek these partnerships every year. We provide over a list of roads that we feel might be good candidates for them to consider, and then they come back to us with what they might be able to do. So it's a very fruitful partnership between us and the county.
okay. While we're on the topic, this is a segue to, I'm gonna digress a little bit, but, with respect to state highways, and I'm specifically thinking about Highway 11, First Avenue North. What sort of maintenance, schedule or, I'm thinking about First Avenue North, in particular, well, there are plenty of places where you could use some maintenance, but, particularly in the North Avondale, community. What's the conversation between the city and the state when it comes to those types of roadways?
So the state largely develops their own projects. They notify us when they're about to go to bid, but it's within their maintenance responsibilities. Specifically referring to First Avenue North, we can reach out to try to get an update for you, Counselor. I know that the state has been trying to put out a project for resurfacing First Avenue between 25th and 83rd. I'm not exactly sure what the status of that project is. It has not been bid out yet, but we can follow up with the state and get you an update on that.
Okay, all right, well, that's good to know. All right, any other questions with respect to this Jefferson County paving project? Yeah, go ahead. Sure.
Colin, one more, and I want to just piggyback off what Mr. President said. Do you know what is some intentional around lighting up, like coming around 65 going north, the 16th Street North exit, and then under the Vadox by Fountain Height Rec Center where it's like completely like dark?
Sure.
What's the intention on doing
So
some lighting on the
inter-
65 North corridor?
Interstate lighting is a very complicated issue that we are working through in partnership with AlDOT as best as we can, trying to develop a long-term plan for that. It's an incredibly complicated issue that we probably should have a separate discussion about. I will say that just in general, we do have currently are working on a partnership with AlDOT to do an assessment of some of our corridors that are completely dark, just to get a sense of what the issues are and what the costs are. It's not gonna solve anything right now. There's no capital plan at the moment for improvements around those, but we're aware holistically, including in around 16th Street, about interstate lighting issues, and we're working through those. It's just very complicated.
With respect to lighting, that's, I think what you're referring to is the lighting for the interstate roadway, which, that's one issue. But in many places, there's lighting underneath, where there are cross streets. And I think Counselor Tate is specifically referring to the connection between Fountain Heights and Enon Ridge. So would that also be an AlDOT?
I would need to follow back up with you guys and get more clarity. I'm not in a position to speak to that today.
Okay. Because, I've encountered that same issue. I mean, highway,
Yeah,
the expressway runs through, the south side.
it's a reasonable question. The nuances of that are not something that I'm prepared to speak to today. And so rather than give out information that's inaccurate, I think it's better to regroup and provide an updated report on that.
Okay.
Yes, please, because they keep asking us, well, they asked about it. They didn't ask about it the last time we were in the neighborhood, but again, I would like to provide them, you know, an accurate update, because when I go through Norwood, right by the swimming pool, and I see how lit up it is
So,
there,
so
like,
that one
is that the railroad?
That was a railroad
Okay.
partnership, and so that's a little bit different. That one I can speak to because we really worked hard with the railroads to work out agreements to get those underpasses lit. So that one, the one on MLK over by Elmwood Cemetery is about to go, Sixth Avenue South in Titusville, Messer Airport. You know, we worked through that very intentionally with each of the railroads. It's, when it comes to Aldot, I'm just not sure of the specifics of who maintains what lights there, and so rather, let me regroup, and get a report back to you guys before giving out information that's inaccurate.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Do we have a motion on the Jefferson County paving project? All right,
Second.
okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, that is advanced to the full council with a recommendation for approval. Under new and old business, Colin, you have some updates?
Yeah, as we are entering this year, there's gonna be a lot of projects hitting the ground thanks to previous funding that's finally getting built. And so I think it might be good just to kind of periodically update you guys on projects that are under construction and ones that we anticipate before your next meetings. Not going into schedule details, but just kind of making you aware of like, hey, work here has started. So two that have started recently, one is the Claremont Walking Trail Extension Project. Another one is the infrastructure package around Caraway. Both of those are just in the beginning phases of construction, so you'll start to see more work around there. Between now and the next meeting, we anticipate a couple other projects to start construction. The BRT District 3 sidewalk package, as well as a couple of drainage projects that have roadway impacts, one on Winona Oxmoor Road, as well as Garrison Avenue Southwest. And then there's a couple of just partnership projects in the Birmingham area. I wanted to kind of, again, just give you a brief, you know, making you guys aware. The county is still in the process of building out the Sacred Hollow roundabout at Sacred Hollow and Blue Lake. The city of Mountain Brook has started construction on the Cahaba roundabout project that we're partnering with them on. They've also started construction on their TAP grant on Montclair. So you'll start to see sidewalks get built out there, and we're partnering with a portion of that later in the year. We also partnered with Homewood to stabilize the drainage ditch on Green Springs Avenue, and so that has recently been completed as well. And then finally, just a couple of larger railroad projects that the community has been aware of and we've gotten calls about. The first being the ATN Railroad over on the east side, the Class 3 railroad there, which has been replacing its crossings. They're pretty close to finishing all the crossings in Birmingham. They're focusing right now around Sloss Furnaces, and we'll need to have a pretty significant coordination with Norfolk Southern on the Diamond crossing, so they'll be working in there for a while. And the last one, which should be done with work, if not, they're very close to being done, is Norfolk Southern was replacing all of their crossings between Bessemer and I-65. So on the west side of town, they've been going through and closing and replacing crossings. Usually takes about 1 to 3 days, depending on what work needs to be done to repair those crossings, but they're pretty close to wrapping up that corridor. So I just wanted to put a general announcement out for that.
Okay. When you say the Diamond Crossing, give me,
The curved crossing across 32nd Street that
okay,
comes across,
gotcha.
that crossing, in order to replace that, has to be coordinated with the Norfolk Southern main line because of how it interchanges.
Right.
So there's just some very complex coordination that needs to happen.
Okay. Gotcha.
So like I said, I want to start doing those just sort of periodically so that, you know, both this committee as well as the general public are just aware as projects come online.
Yeah. The project, the sidewalk project on Montclair, what's the, you know, I know they're trying to remember where there's sidewalk there, but
They're adding it from Memory Lane going back towards Ramsey Park. And then we're gonna work on, we have another project that'll work on filling in the gap along Ramsey Park. That'll come on later this year.
okay. Gotcha. Any other questions about any of those projects? Yeah, Counselor Tate.
This project, but when you start asking about sidewalks, Colin, I noticed, and I'm just talking about sidewalks like the president, like I've seen a lot of sidewalk improvement, like in the Civic Finley, 16th Street North. When you guys how do you all know that this is what you're about to do, and can you alert, you
Yeah,
know?
and that's part of what I'm hoping this regular update will help with. It's just kind of getting the word out.
Yeah, because I noticed, like, you'll drive up on, you like, oh, we got new sidewalks, and I just think it's good to, if the council knows, like, hey, we about to start this sidewalk project, and capturing, that information, putting it on your social and reporting out to,
Sure.
The neighborhoods. And another question, I do have to ask this, an update on, speed cushions for District 9.
Sure. I'm gonna work on getting with our traffic calming team to get a traffic calming update for you guys generally. Since I'm not directly involved with traffic calming anymore, I don't want to speak to that without coordinating with them. So let me get that as an update, as an action item for next meeting for you guys.
Okay, I'll send an email, particularly in Smithfield Estates and Westchester. I know they talk about that Grand Boulevard, UW Clemens, and Castleberry.
No, I understand. I don't, kind of like the lighting thing. I want to circle back and make sure I've got the right information for you guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Colin, I noticed that there was a sign that went up at the shops at Crestwood on 56th Street, sort of, I guess, announcing the Crestwood, sidewalk project. Do we have any idea on the timing on that?
That's part of the Claremont Walking Trail Extension Project. So they're starting over on the Forest Park side of Claremont. But that project will tie in the walking trail back to Forest Park, over the mountain to Montclair, and then eventually down 56th Street to into Crestwood.
Okay, so construction has started?
Construction has started, early stages of construction, but yes.
Okay, all right, excellent. Okay, all right, I think that's all the questions we got for you right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we're gonna go off agenda here for a second because Carolyn Buck just called me and she's got an issue that she needs some help with. So Carolyn?
Hey guys, I'm Carolyn from Freshwater Land Trust. As you guys know, we are working with CSX Transportation to close on a 3-ish mile rail line in West Birmingham, which will be the Valley Creek Rails to Trails. I've come before you guys before for an extension of the due diligence period. We were hoping to not need to do it again, but we have had some sequencing issues with CSX, which has now made us bump up into the deadline. They're just having a very slow response time to the things that we are sending in, and so we're not getting their feedback for updates until basically this week. So we are requesting a second amendment to the purchase agreement, which was executed in December, for a 90-day due diligence extension that will help us finalize the survey, which they had a few things that they wanted to tweak, and then that would allow us for the phase 2 environmental assessment to go forward. We just today, and the due diligence ends this week, were given permission to enter the site to even be able to do the collection. So the 90-day period will give us sufficient time, we hope, to finish this and then still be able to close by at the latest May. So that is what we would love to put on the agenda for city council approval. I'm sure you have questions, which are very fair.
So after I got your call, I went and talked to Jeff McDaniels, our deputy director. And he said he reached out to Jim Stanley. And Jim says that the committee can conditionally accept the request to do another 90-day extension pending review by OCA, but Jim should be able to have that ready for the council agenda tomorrow.
Great.
Yeah, so this is,
And just to give a little bit of an update, so we submitted the survey for their review on January 23rd. We just heard back last week that they had us, they were not satisfied with what we provided. We requested the 10-day notice as required by the purchase agreement to be able to enter the premises over 2 weeks ago. We would have been able to complete it in time had they accepted that, but we're just having a hard time getting them to respond. We're not allowed to cross the premise and without their explicit approval.
Okay. And this is the Valley Creek Trail project, correct?
Yes.
So Midfield, Fairfield,
This one does not cross into Fairfield. It starts at the Crossplex and goes to Midfield. It actually is going to connect to the city of Midfield through some Freshwater Land Trust owned property.
okay, all right. All right, so I'll offer a motion to amend the agreement to include an additional 90-day extension on the due diligence period pending the request of the Office of the City Attorney. So that would be a motion to recommend to the full council that 90-day extension.
Second.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, guys.
That's approved.
I really hope this is the last time I'm going to ask.
Yeah, we'll see you in another 90 days. Okay, any other new or old business we need to discuss? No?
I
But-
want to announce that March 10th will be canceled for
Yes.
travel.
Yes,
The next meeting will be March 20th.
yes, please be advised that the March 10th meeting, committee meeting will be canceled because of travel. All right, motion to adjourn?
Second.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.